It takes guts to make a Star Wars film. Join us as we review fans that made their own. All that today on Chatter Squadron.
Negative 12 Kelvin.
Do you think Darth Celsius?
I don't think that's possible.
Nope.
Kelvin goes to 0.
Do you think Darth Celsius would be a good name for somebody?
No, it'd be like, what is
I think that already exists.
What's your power?
I make things
Warmer or colder?
Yes.
Depending.
Surely that isn't a fan film.
Oh,
Darth Celsius. No, not even Darth. Dark Celsius.
Dark Celsius.
I want
Dark Vader.
Dark Vader?
Yeah, that's your French book I got you.
That was, I think it was still Darth.
No, it's
I don't
Dark
remember.
Vader.
I'm trying to remember.
Is it?
Yeah, the French, it's Dark Vader.
Wonder why.
I don't know. 'Cause they're
I
French.
guess nobody could ever know.
I guess no one will ever know.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chatter Squadron. I'm trying to remember each episode and what number it is. I don't know. I think it might be.
That's what I thought you were just failing to remember the name of the show.
This is the
That
32nd
we painstakingly
episode.
came up with.
Yeah.
100
What did we call this again?
What's the show? Hi.
Hello, sir.
I'm sat across to Calhoun and Johnny.
Hello.
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 Han Solo.
Hello. Gunja Club.
You're a dead man.
Oh, no.
Cling clang. The new setup's working out real
Yes.
well.
Cling clang.
I lost an elbow last time, and Johnny broke a flask.
You can't break a flask.
We blew a flask.
We brew a flask.
Han Solo, you blew a flask.
Gunja Club.
Flask Club.
Flask Club.
Ooh, flask club.
That's my
Wow.
favorite club.
So how is everybody, how's the new year treating you guys?
Oh, man.
Oh, it's new.
I had no pancakes yet, so
Oh, my gosh.
Wait, what?
I haven't had any pancakes this
Pancakes,
year.
is that a good thing?
No, that's a bad thing.
Have you had any pancakes?
I don't like pancakes. Is that a
What about waffles?
dude? I love me some waffles.
I thought you were
Have you
gonna
had
be
any
like-
this year?
I thought you were going to be like, duh, no.
Dude, waffle me good. I want some good waffles this year.
You've never had any waffles this year?
I've never had waffles in my life, but I love them.
Just the idea, so many compartments. What can we put in them?
Right? You could just fill them
Butter.
with like one
Apple
has
butter.
One has apple butter. Another one has
Almond
chocolate
butter.
syrup, almond butter.
Different kinds of butter.
I don't know if either of you have had waffles before. It's not usually just butter.
Yeah, I know what waffles are. There's little compartments. There's a little door you put on each one.
Yeah.
I actually told you that I've never had waffles before, so that is a truthful fact.
Yeah, he told you that. You lied.
I know I did.
I know that waffles look like the side of TIE fighters. That's all I
Wait, aren't the side of TIE fighters hexagons?
Yeah, you don't have hexagon.
I'd never had hexagonal waffles.
I have.
I have no clue what's going on. I haven't woken up all year. Can you tell? I fell asleep and then woke up. I fell asleep right after our first episode and then woke up now.
Dang.
Yeah,
Were you sleep talking all those other times?
all the other times. Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm really good at doing that.
I'm looking at your cup, and I want us to ask,
Yes.
did Luke Skywalker form his second lightsaber after Obi-Wan's?
For the listener, Calhoun is looking at my mug that has lightsabers on it. So the Legends explanation, I don't know if it's canon still, but that Luke went back to Obi-Wan's hut and found his old writings, and that's how he was able to make a lightsaber, was off of what he...
I see.
Yeah.
Copycat.
That's really cool. So he went all the way back to Tatooine, went to his hut,
Yep. Keep going. I'm going to...
found the blueprints and or his just scrawls,
Read
writings,
them.
Yeah.
read them, and then followed the instructions.
Well, first, he went to the bathroom a
I'm
couple
more
times.
interested in that he went back to Tatooine because I like to thought that he.
I like to thought too.
I liked the thought that he went back to Tatooine for the first time to save Han.
Aw.
Oh, no.
According to legends, no, of course.
Okay, let's get to the task at hand here.
It's a long episode.
We are, this is going to be a long episode. If you remember, speaking of last episode before I fell asleep, Johnny talked about what he would like to see in 2018, which is StarWars.com putting out a basically a call to make fan films.
So, yeah.
That ghost.
These are your first steps.
But basically putting out a call to make fan films to kind of bring the community together. But we took to action to look at several different fan films because there are hundreds we found.
Oh, yes.
I've watched a lot in my day, but we made or Calhoun made a large list for us, and I had not heard of any of them. And
Isn't
then
that a little sad?
Then looking into them,
A lot of them are newer.
right? And then looking into them, I realized I didn't know most of them too.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like, here's suggested videos. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's even more that I didn't see.
I was only familiar with 2 out of all of the ones that I found.
Really?
I did a very brief search. You know, I told you guys I stopped the list at 28 because we're not going to watch 28 films and be
Right.
able to talk
Yeah.
about them.
Right.
Something I'd like to do in the future is, oh man, things are falling. Oh, your notes. Don't lose your notes.
That's all right.
Something I'd like to do in the future is another episode where we feature
Yep.
new fan films, and there's no shortage of material here. Are you going to crawl over and get that for Johnny?
No, don't.
What a kind
There's
friend.
there's nothing in there.
For the listener, Tyler is
I forgot to write anything
leaning
down.
over, getting his notes. Completely different. Oh man, I can't even believe your body bends that way.
Yeah.
Are you a Jedi?
I'm double jointed though.
In your body?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's technically I don't have 2 joints like they say, but for the technical term, I'm
That
double
disappointed
jointed.
me when I found that out. People aren't actually
People don't have
armed with 2 joints.
I'm like General Grievous. I just break off and, lose parts of my anatomy, and then I'm just keep going.
You lose them.
Yeah. I started with
don't know where they
7
went.
arms.
I don't know where they've gone.
Anyway, finishing my thought, the task at hand, which is that we watched several fan films, each of us, and we're going to come together and talk about some of them. But one thing I wanted to bring up was a fan film that was recently released called The Last Jedi, right?
That's a great fan film.
And yeah, really high production on that.
I was
don't
like,
know.
wow.
Whoa.
Got this.
Somebody's got some money.
Yeah.
Somebody has a little bit of money.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm impressed that they were able to get the actors from J.J. Abrams' film,
I
The
was-
Force Awakens. Did
I
you
was
guys see that?
Crazy that they got those things.
Right.
The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. What did you watch?
I just watched
A Forceful Awakening? I remember watching that.
it's like an Austrian comedy.
I actually, now, okay, completely serious.
Yes.
I do want to make a low budget recreation of The Force Awakens called A Force Awakens. Or no, what did I just say?
A Forceful Awakening.
Forceful Awakening. And
Okay.
it's just going to be every set is built out of cardboard.
Oh, man.
Let me know when it's done.
I think I watched the same thing. It was called like Underworld Awakening.
But what I wanted to talk about is that The Last Jedi apparently is struggling in China. It was released.
Maybe they should translate it to Chinese first.
That might do the trick.
It was released. People were expecting The Last Jedi to get a second wind once it got released in its last major market, being China.
Sheesh.
But apparently, it's stuck at number 2 next to, and I'm going to try X-Files 3: Return of the X's, which is a romantic comedy. Apparently a very popular romantic comedy. There's the
Dude, there's no way. It must be like the Hangover of China.
You must be.
apparently, but yeah, that's beating it right now.
That's insane.
Apparently, it's not doing like absolutely horrible. I'm trying to find exactly how much the film has earned 8.28 million in its first week, which isn't.
No, that's nothing.
I know that's nothing.
8.5 million? Not even 8.5.
They
In China?
yes, in China, and
okay.
the X-Files or X-File Return of the X's has earned 15 million.
Oh, so- well, then it's
in
not
the
that.
same week.
But still, 15 million is kind of nothing.
I just wanted to bring up that little bit of news because, like I said, they just released this new movie, The Last Jedi, and it's winding down. And I think as everything does wind down, once it gets to a certain point, they're going to release something for a Solo.
Yeah,
I think they're watching the numbers and seeing when maybe interest
off.
kind of wanes in some direction that they will.
Right.
Then they'll release something and kind of kickstart it again.
Yeah, it's still in theaters right now.
Right.
I read an economist has predicted that because of the lack of marketing for the Solo film, that it's going to be a significant drop in revenue. Like, not a lot of people are going to go see it. Now, I don't think that's really news, though, because it's a spring release following probably one of the biggest releases Star Wars is going to see, and it just naturally wouldn't have as much of a viewership. And I think we should kind of be expecting that.
Yeah, and Rogue One as well. It didn't break anything really. It was just a high profit movie for them. And
right. I mean, Rogue One, I think, was still riding all of the hype from Force Awakens, and that's why it did well. And it was a year later.
Right.
So
right.
we should expect this.
I hope that it should. I wish they would have just waited till December of this year instead of just doing it in May.
I
Because
kind of do too.
they could have built up the hype a little bit more.
Right.
Maybe they don't want to, though.
That's true. It does work against them sometimes.
Yeah. That's what I think. I think when we do see it, we'll be pleasantly surprised, I would say.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're hoping for because of how much, like we talked about last week, of losing directors and all whatever else. They may be thinking, okay, how about we not necessarily downplay it, but wait and not just throw everything at people all at once. And I think that's why the best way we can guess for what's going to happen and when we're going to see Solo, like the first glimpses of it, the best way to look at that is how The Last Jedi is doing week to week. That's my opinion.
They have to do it relatively soon because I could just picture anyone. I could just picture someone at like my work being like, Star Wars, they just released one of those. Why would I go see another one?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, and you still work on the farm.
Yeah, and then I work on that farm with a pig that talks.
Right.
And he's always
that
like,
was one of the pigs.
I'm going to go watch a movie. You know, like, what, you're a pig.
It's very Orwellian.
Yeah.
I am...
Callbacks.
I keep forgetting that Woody Harrelson is in this film.
Yes.
I'm so pumped. I love Woody Harrelson.
Amelia Clarke.
Yes!
Khaleesi.
She is.
I
I love Amelia Clarke.
Yeah, Amelia Clarke's great.
It's that
She did not do well in Terminator Genesis, but
Like her performance itself, or the
it
movie?
wasn't great. But I think it might have been the writing.
Probably.
She's a great
It's a
actress.
Terminator movie.
That's something that, I'm excited for too, because we haven't seen any of these people fill any of those roles, especially Donald Glover, because he's going to win an Oscar.
Yes, he's going to win. I told you he's going to win an Oscar.
Can I make a prediction here?
Oh my gosh.
I think they're going to make a Solo film with just Lando Calrissian.
Oh, yes.
So what we are saying is, the Solo, like as in the name of this movie, it's not about Han Solo. It's about a Solo character
Performance
one
by Donald
singular
Glover
person. It's
for an
not-
Oscar. Yes.
Right,
for the Oscar.
It's all one. It's all one shot. It's all just
Just of
him.
him.
It's filmed like Birdman.
Yeah, it's filmed like
Wait a
Birdman.
minute. We just stumbled upon something great. Remember we were talking about alternate types of movies?
Yes.
What if they did a Birdman-style single-take Star
Of
Wars
Lando
film?
Calrissian.
Of Lando Calrissian, yeah.
That would be amazing.
I'm down. 100% down.
You know what? I'm down too. Let's make that one.
Hell yeah.
Let's make a cardboard.
Let me call up
version.
Donald.
That'll be our fan film.
You're calling up Donald?
Yeah, I call him Child Gambino.
Child Gambino. Wow, you really,
You tell I know him
really
because I took off
changed that up.
This is a loopy episode.
Yes,
this
it is.
A loopy
Oh my
one.
gosh. Well, that's what we're trying to get you guys in for the long haul because we wanted to do one little news thing, and then I was thinking, let's talk about the shorter short films that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take a break and then come back and bombard you with fan film knowledge on all kinds of fan films we watched.
I'm so filled with fun on this episode.
Thank you.
This guy right here is filled with fun.
Thank you for taking your time to say that.
I am filled with fun on this episode because these fan films. I am having fun fan film fanaticism.
That's fantastic,
Dude.
But
It's exciting.
let me start off by talking about a short one I watched, which is called Lost Droids. And in order, if you guys want to watch this one, search Lost Droids, parentheses, Star Wars fan film original. Basically, Calhoun put this in the notes. I saw Lost Droids, or Lost Droid.
I think it's Lost Droids.
It's one of
plural.
the two.
Oh, I see.
And I was like, okay, I'll go with that one. You know, it's only like 8 minutes long or something. I started up. There's opening crawl. There's many grammatical errors.
In the opening crawl?
Yes. And
But you got to give them points for having an opening crawl.
Yes,
that's
true.
key.
yeah,
That is
it is.
true.
So there's all that stuff going on. It's kind of skipping over that into the fact that this is just a film that I'm guessing they look like they're 8 years old. A bunch of 8-year-olds made.
Okay.
So I'm going to be talking about. The minute I realized that is I was too far in, and I was like, "Well, I'm just going to watch it and bring this up."
I'll tell you what, though, 8 minutes long.
That's pretty
for
good.
Kids that apparently are pretty young. That alone, that undertaking and commitment is impressive.
Let me tell you something. This is an impressive movie.
Hell yeah, I'm excited.
So when I write notes for the show, I'm very like what pops into my head. The first note I have is this is just kids.
Oh, this is just kids.
That's what I noticed.
So you mean like every actor is a kid too?
Yeah, yep. They
Awesome.
didn't get like an older brother or
Yes.
something. No, it was just kids.
Dang it.
They were doing good cuts. Like they edited it. They added sound effects, all that kind of stuff. It starts off with two kids in a hallway trying to shoot at a Sith, and it's like completely dark. And then I think he force pushes one into a wall. Ooh. But that's the thing. Like they're doing the cuts where he like moves his hand and then it cuts back and then he moves. So they're actually doing stuff.
They're learning filmmaking.
Why does every single one I watched have them trying to do a forced push when it's really hard to film someone doing a forced push unless you have like some sort of
effects?
Yeah,
that's what everyone wants to do.
I know,
everyone wants to do the
want to do it.
lightsaber, and everyone wants to do the Force.
They all do.
And in my medium length one, I'm going to point out something that everyone else wants to do in every lightsaber battle, but I'll get there at some point. Yeah, they're doing cuts and everything, and then it kind of turns out that R2-D2 is on Earth, and
real Earth.
Yeah, so this is Earth.
Okay.
This is fun.
A kid finds the droid, right, and is like, I think they're British, unless they're doing British accents, but he's like, oh, what are you?
What are you?
And, it's like, it's a little toy, like it's like a
third of the
quarter
size.
of the size of a normal, but it makes like the noises and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then he's like, you can be my little secret. And he takes it into the back of like a van with him. And he starts like pressing on him and everything. And then they add in like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like that kind of stuff. And he's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's that? It's all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
Sith kills parents. I have written down here, which is the the Sith kid comes into like their living room, I'm guessing, and it looks like their other brothers are just like playing. They're obviously playing PS3 or PS4 because I can see the controller, I can see it lit up, and their stuff is flashing on them. That's like the only light in the room, and then he's just stabbing them or whatever. And then the one kid who is shirtless, mind you, and I was like, this is feeling weird.
Oh no.
He like says a line that's inaudible, and then he just kills him. And apparently that was supposed to be the one main kid who got the droid's parents, because that's what they reference. I'm gonna kill you just like I killed your parents or whatever. And I was like, was that like shirtless 9-year-old supposed to be his like mom or dad or something like that?
Obviously.
So it was like, oh, okay. I thought it was like implied off-screen parents.
No.
okay.
Like later on, he
has
says
9-year-old parents.
He's basically like, I killed your parents. Now you have to join me. And he's like, what? You killed my parents? And then I'm guessing like the only other people he kills is those like they're obviously just like their brothers or something. But that's what I mean. They did cuts, and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They made like a storyline. The Sith takes the droid. The kid is like, "You're not going to take that droid." And
have
he's
they shown any lightsabers at this point?
Yeah, it starts off with him with like.
How did they look? Did they look pretty good?
They're just light up lightsabers. They no effects or anything.
I love it.
Right. But the issue is he tells the kid who got the droid, you have to join me or else I'm going to hurt this droid. And he's like, right.
Oh, no.
He's like, okay. One of the things too in that interrogation scene, I'm looking back to when I was young and making these type of films because he wakes up like in their like patio or something and it's all like sectioned off by like a tarp or something like that. And the camera's moving around and the kid is like, the Sith is talking behind the camera and the kid is talking to him, but he's saying he can't see him. So it's sort of like he's in his head type thing. But the kid saying, I can't see you is looking at the camera as he's talking. Anyway. That's just another little thing. But that just flashed in my head of, okay, so they needed to film this scene. They didn't have any other friends with them that day. So the other kid had to be the cameraman. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, okay, so I'll just pretend like I'm like in your head type thing.
That's great.
Man.
And I was like, because they probably don't have a tripod or something like that, whatever. As I'm thinking that, he pans to a tripod.
What?
With like the lever to move the camera pointed at the kid, and he's like, "You see that droid? It'll shoot you if you escape." I'm like, okay, so wait a second.
Dude.
They could have shot it like that.
To be fair, they do look like droids.
They wanted to use the tripod for a droid instead of a tripod.
I love it.
I get it.
Dude, this is inventive. This is Steven Spielberg creativity.
Right,
that's true.
So basically, now there's a montage of him being trained, which has to do with him jumping on a trampoline and
you train.
Lightsaber battling. The one kid's lightsaber can light up, the other one's cannot. So that goes into the end of the film as well. But so it has to do with that. And my favorite part, him doing one-armed pull-ups,
yes,
like on or whatever, but and he's trying to look very strained. It's like just straight up, really close on his face, and he's like,
dude,
gee.
I love it.
So basically, something happens. I don't know. There's a hard transition to it's like nighttime to him just being like, I don't want to join you, even though they just did this training montage, and. He's like, okay. So they start to fight the Sith and the droid kid. They start to fight, and it's dark out. So you see one lightsaber, but you don't really see the other that well.
Oh,
and they fight. And the Sith gets him on the floor, and he's like, I'm going to kill you like I killed your parents, which is
obviously the parents.
Right. Obviously the parents who loved their gaming, apparently.
Yeah.
And he's on the ground. No. And like he's like poking him with his lightsaber quite a lot.
That's awesome.
While he's supposed to be like alive and like interrogating him or whatever. And then the droid comes and distracts him, obviously.
Okay.
And then he's like, oh, you stupid droid. And then the kid gets up behind him and is like, I thought I killed you. And he's like, nope, or whatever. And,
yes.
And then
nope.
He has a blue lightsaber that lights up. Where did that come from? And why didn't he use it in the other shots? But apparently,
no need.
I don't know. Maybe it was shot
Dramatic.
over Christmas break and he got that lightsaber. And they were like, well, we need to finish this film now. But then it lights up or whatever. I believe he just kills the Sith. And then it's just hard ending.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice wrapped up. All about droids.
I got. What year was it made? I gotta commend these kids.
Oh my gosh, I
don't
don't know.
Okay.
Did it look recent?
Oh, of course. It looks like they
2010s at least.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be rating mine. I give it a 4 out of 10.
There you go.
Dang, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they
10 being
10
New
being
Hope, of course.
horrible.
10 being Last Jedi, the best fan film.
Yes. Oh yeah, that Last Jedi fan
Yeah.
film. I don't know why people hated it so much. That was a
Pretty good fan film for everyone volunteering.
Anyone else want to talk about a short one before we hit the break?
I have a short one. Did you have a short one?
Yes, I did.
Let's do rock paper scissors.
No, you both can talk about.
Let's do it at the same time then. Tyler just said we have to. Okay.
All right.
So
well,
mine
I was
opened,
doing the
it was
and,
called the
it was
Gray,
called the Path of the
and,
Crystal.
it was
and-
actually pretty. You want to stop there?
I mean, I don't think this is gonna work.
I'll tell mine.
Okay.
Mine, short one, was I think it was 5 or 6 minutes long. Oh, we didn't mention this. We split them up into 3 sections. Only I failed on the third one. We split it up into 1 to 9 minutes was a short.
Yep.
10 to 35 was a medium, and then over 35 we considered a feature length.
Yeah.
So we were meant to do a short, medium, and long. Only I didn't do a long because I'm a bad guy. My
Bad
short
guy.
one. My short one is called.
Wait, he's bad guy.
I'm bad guy of the podcast. It was called The Gray, and we can make assumptions as to what it's about.
Yeah,
That
it's about Liam Neeson kills a wolf.
Yeah.
exactly.
I think a lot of us have seen
Qui-Gon Jinn is in a plane crash.
Yes.
and
Wow.
he beats a pack of wolves to death
With glass between
with
his
with glass fists.
glass fists. And it was a good movie. Man.
Sounds like a
It
good
was
movie.
really solid.
That's awesome. All right,
you know,
Johnny.
it only needed 5 minutes.
That's crazy.
That's the best
All right,
part.
what happened in yours, Johnny?
No.
But for real, it was called The Gray. It was referring, as I'm assuming, to a gray Jedi.
Whoa.
Didn't have an opening crawl, which
okay.
I'm okay with because it was just a little piece. So it opens with this impressive CG shot of a Lambda class shuttle pulling into flying into a planet, and then it's followed by an awful CG shot of the Lambda class shuttle landing. And it was okay. You know, like this is a 5-minute short film. I was pretty impressed with the opening, so it grabbed me. That was good. The overall story was very simple. I'll go through individual parts here first, but I'll give a brief summary. The Lambda class shuttle was landing on this random planet for no explicable reason.
Of course.
And then
Is that what the opening crawl said?
No.
A Lambda class shuttle
I wish.
lands
What's
on a
the gray?
random planet for no particular reason. And
Whatever.
that's all it says.
Whatever. ...
I'm not sure what the shuttle looked like. It was landing in a space station, but
Yeah.
then it cuts to a bar. It's just a bar. It looked like a cantina, typical
Yeah.
cantina. Well-made set. I will say that it was a good set. And we see this hooded guy kind of sitting alone. I don't even think he had a drink. He was just staring at the wall.
That's what I do at bars.
Actually, you know what? I've seen some people like that at bars. Yeah, he's doing it right now. Just staring off into space.
Aragorn style. Just
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
in the corner.
Did Aragorn have a drink? He might have.
No, he was smoking
had his
a pipe.
He had,
His
okay, so
pipe.
he had his pipe. Back when they could smoke indoors. The good times.
Good times back in the medieval times.
So then an Imperial... okay, it opens actually with, in the bar, a person going to the bar, a young lady, and getting harassed by one of the patrons. But the way it was filmed was a little creepy because he was just undressing her at the bar.
What?
And the only person that was paying any attention to her being harassed, because she wasn't even saying like stop or get away. It was just him going, come on, come on, come on. Like, we're gonna, yeah. And he's like taking off her jacket she had like a white shirt underneath. But then the gray character force pulls him away from her.
Yeah.
And
More force pulling.
they wanted to open with that. And he just kind of like schlumps off and leaves the bar, I guess. He was in some like blue makeup, which looked really good.
The gray guy?
Yeah, the gray guy. The cantina had some good costumes. I thought all the wardrobe was pretty darn good. The gray was wearing a great costume. Everyone looked to be age appropriate. You know, it looked like it was filmed by people that knew what they wanted to do, and they cast people as actual characters. Next, in walks in an Imperial officer. Uniform looks like she serves on a flight crew. She's got a couple badges.
Cool.
She orders a drink, ignores it, immediately walks over to the Grey Jedi and sits down as if she knows him, like, personally.
Does she?
She doesn't know him personally.
Okay.
So I can appreciate that they put a little bit of a story into it. It wasn't just young people going, I want to make a lightsaber effect, or I want to do the Force. They actually put a lot of time into it. You know, they didn't film it in the woods,
right?
You know, or a parking garage.
I think it was all of mine had woods.
Woods, yeah. I can understand that. But no, they built a set, and then the conversation, I mean, the dialogue was kind of nothing. It was like, we could have a lot of use for someone like you. We understand that the Jedi, not all people that learn the ways of the Force follow the Jedi Order. And he was just being standoffish and typical stuff like that. Then she stands up. Here, let me just get my thing. It didn't feel like I understood why. Oh, yeah. It didn't feel like I understood why the entire Empire was at this bar. Oh, and then they added a new Sith character. He kind of just comes in. Like this great paint on his face, double-ended lightsaber. So I was like, I've kind of seen this before. Right. But the Grey Jedi says, I'm not going to join you. She says, maybe we can convince you. Brings in the Sith guy. They fight. It was an okay fight. It was very tight. Not a lot of wide angles. I don't think they wanted to show off the set too much. Then he defeats him. She looks a little irritated. She sat down the whole time. And then the Grey Jedi is just kind of like heavy breathing, and then he just like looks at her like, I killed your guy now, ha ha ha, that sort of thing. And then Darth Vader shows up. Like you hear the breathing first, but it's not the movie breathing. It's like they tried to create their own effect. No, I don't want to knock them because maybe they were afraid of using intellectual property of someone else or the sound effect. I don't know. I don't know if that was a concern of theirs. Yeah. But it didn't sound great. And then Darth Vader shows up behind. They do the shot where like he's like staring off at the wall again. And Darth Vader just kind of like appears over the shoulder.
Wall.
Yeah, he loved that wall. Darth Vader shows up and he ignites his lightsaber, and then this guy ignites his lightsaber, and he like blocks a swing at the back.
Yep.
And then it cuts, and then it's done. He like yells, and I'm like, okay.
And that's the end?
That's the end. I told you it was only 5 minutes long. It was a long conversation they had about joining the Empire.
Seems like it, yeah.
But, you know, the things I want to bring up are, like, it looked good.
Yeah.
They had fun. Mm-hmm. They did more than just a lightsaber fight and we're done. They didn't do it in the woods. And the costumes felt good. But I feel like new characters, lots of fun.
Right.
Mixing them with old characters that we know and we know their motivations.
Weird.
It's tough.
Right.
You can't always make that work.
Yeah.
I've seen some fan films where they use characters from the films. They get people that look like them. They act like them.
Right.
Great work. This one, Darth Vader seemed like a shoe, they shoehorned it in.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was just
I wanted to say shoehorn.
He looked like a shoe.
He felt like a shoehorned in thing. And so I wasn't really, I don't know.
It's just a shoe being pulled by a string with the breathing.
Oh, no, it's Darth Vader. Look out.
But it was good. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. I would suggest it.
Oh, man.
Everyone should watch it.
1 out of 10.
Ooh, let's give it, I'll give it a 4.
Dang.
Oh, okay.
I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
No, I'll give it a 5.
No.
5 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
Halfway to Last Jedi.
All right,
It's
and
a
then
good fan film.
before the break, Johnny, did you watch
I'll be
one?
quick. Yeah, I watched a small one. It's called the Path of the Crystal.
I like it. I like
Already
it.
laughing at it.
Entirely took place in the woods.
Yes.
They had some impressive shots of some ships landing on a wooded area with some drone work.
Nice.
Which I was like, okay, you know what? So I think this is 2015. They made this one.
Great.
Okay.
Or it's newer. So they had some cool drone work and all that jazz. And I was like, hey, you know what? This is pretty cool. Not too bad. The costumes were all right. I mean, you could definitely tell they were homemade. I think this was just a volunteer one.
Right.
No one got paid for this.
What kind of characters did we see?
There's a Jedi who lands.
Okay.
And he's like he's being chased by some Sith, I guess.
Of course.
A Sith apprentice and a Sith master.
So wait, I'm sorry to cut you off. Is he alone?
He's alone.
And he's telling himself this. Man, I can't believe I'm being chased by a Sith apprentice and a Sith master.
They don't say that. But
Okay,
it's assumed.
Oh, okay.
He's getting chased by a Sith Twi'lek. She's red, but her Twi'lek, her Twi'lek, what do you call them, tentacles?
Yeah.
They're just bags that are red. They look like bean bags.
Oh, no.
It was pretty funny.
Were they the same shade as her skin at least?
Yeah, they were pretty close.
Okay.
Cool. So I was like, all right, but what? And so they land, and he's in the woods going around, and I guess he had gone there to find a crystal, which is why it's called the Path of the Crystal.
Got it.
What kind of crystal is this? Is it a kyber crystal?
This is the crystal.
Okay.
It is a kyber crystal.
Okay, I see.
So he's walking along a path, and he stops, and he just looks to the left, and he's like, oh, and reaches out and just out of the dirt, there's a kyber crystal just sitting there.
I love it.
Brushes off some dirt. Like they planted it there. They like dug a little hole and put it in. And he pulls it out. He's like, oh, this will do nicely. And then this is all in Russian, by the way. So there's subtitles, but it's all in Russian. And so they do a little horrible CG shot of him, mentally putting the lightsaber together, like they do. And right after he puts it together, two Jedi come there immediately, and they're like, "Oh, we got your distress signal."
Cool.
And then the Sith apprentice comes out, and she's like, "I'm going to take you down." And then they start battling, and it was it was an okay battle.
Good.
They're doing a little back and forth.
It's a 4-person battle. That's hard to choreograph.
Okay, I got this wrong. He's starting to battle the apprentice first. Then the apprentice is like winning. Then the two other ones show up. Then the master comes in.
The master? Wait, the Sith master?
The Sith master.
I like that he's probably just behind
waiting in the
a tree.
wings. Just waiting.
Was he?
Ooh, you think she'll need my help? I don't know. We'll see.
He keeps peeking out like,
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait, why did he come now?
when's the best time for me to come out? Oh, two new Jedi? I'm going to come now.
Were
Yeah.
all the Jedi human?
They're all human.
Oh, okay.
The Sith guy was like cloaked and had a mask on, but the master, the other one was the Twi'lek.
Trash bag girl.
Trash bag.
Beanbag.
Tentacle, yes. So they're battling. And of course, the master he's got a double bladed, and there's a big reveal. He's like fights with it like a single blade for like a long time.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, it's just a single blade, just
And
with a really long handle.
I was going to say, it's really long.
And then, of course, there's a big reveal where it turns into a double blade and he kills someone with it. Because he's blocking a hit, and then he turns on the other one and it goes right into the Jedi behind him. He's like, oh my God.
I like this master guy. He's one for
He's
the dramatics.
He's so dramatic.
I'm a little confused as to how the double-bladed thing is still being used
People
in
love
fan
it.
films, because it's like you think that would have been played out after 2010 or before. It's kind of
love it.
seen a lot.
People love it, man.
People do love it.
Well, in the Clone Wars, the guy with the two double bladeds.
That
What?
was cool.
That
though.
was cool.
That's
I don't know if you're there yet.
Jumping
Yeah,
the shark.
You'll see him.
It's almost jumping the shark.
He's brutal.
I'm almost
Anyway.
at season 3. Anyway,
Okay.
continue.
So then, okay, so he kills two of the Jedi, and it's just the guy you started with, and he's battling the apprentice, and the apprentice like gets thrown off her feet or something, and then he starts battling the master, and the master starts losing.
Oh no!
And then he hits the master, knocks his lightsaber out of his hand.
What did he hit him with? His fist?
I don't know. He punched him or something. I don't remember. I was like, what is going on? And then,
It happens so often.
yeah, and then the master's on the ground, and the apprentice takes her blade and gets the master's blade and stabs two of the Jedi, including the Jedi that came there to look for the crystal. So she kills him with the
Wow.
double bladed, the master's double blade,
Yeah.
and turns on the back section and kills the master. And he's like, "You're weak," because he was the master, and that's how it ends. And it cuts.
Well, shouldn't he have been impressed?
Well, he's dead. He's dead, so he can't be impressed if you're dead.
Well, usually the master is just like toying with their apprentice.
Wait,
anticipating their death.
I think she said you are weak.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
I
said you're
see.
weak. So he kills. She kills the Jedi with the front part of the double blade, which the back part isn't turned on for some reason. And then he stands up behind her,
standing close
like
enough.
looking impressed or whatever. And she turns on the back portion, and it kills him. And she's like, "You were weak." And then that's
Wow.
it. I was like, "Oh, that's clever. I like that. It's real dramatic, but I love it."
This whole thing sounds super dramatic.
super dramatic.
Well, that's the thing I'm thinking about right now. Like, there's so many people that can imagine what their Star Wars movie would look like, but they can't always execute it. But everyone has these dramatic pieces, and it makes you wonder, like, things like in The Last Jedi, where we're just like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But really, if it was executed in a fan film, like a low-budget manner, we'd be like, eye roll.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like,
Right.
look at this.
It's really
one
a matter
move
of-
where Kylo Ren does. Like, we love it. We like,
do.
dude, did you see that? But in reality,
Like when
a
he
thousand people
throws
thought of that.
when he throws the guy into like a wood chipper type thing. I just imagine how that would look.
I kind of want to see
It's
that
like
now.
it's an actual like uncle's like they throw like a toy stormtrooper into it, and it's
Oh
like
my God. What if there was just a
lawnmower.
fan version of The Last Jedi with like
that's what
no
we're-
budget?
that's what we're about to do.
That's what we're
with
gonna do.
cardboard.
we're gonna
right,
do,
cardboard.
we're gonna do a Forceful Awakening.
Yeah.
And then we're
Forceful
gonna do I don't know what we'll do for the,
The
last
Lurst
Jedi.
Jurder.
Yes.
Well, we need to start writing that script over the break, and we'll be right back. We're going to cover several more fan films. Once again, like I said, this is a little longer episode because as we talk about these things, feel free to pause and look up these
Yes.
these
encourage
films.
Sure.
I really encourage, like, especially the ones that I watched.
Right.
You gotta watch them. They're great.
I'm waiting. You guys have to wait and listen to Calhoun's one that he watched because it is incredible. But we will get to that right after the break.
Hey, this is Mike Calhoun, and I'm joined by Johnny and Tyler, and we're here to tell you that we got 2 new social media profiles, one being YouTube, the other being Facebook.
We take a video of every single episode, and you get to see those first on YouTube and the new Facebook page. YouTube is Chatter Squadron. The Facebook page is Chatter Squadron, a Star Wars podcast.
And be sure if we post anything like asking a question or polling, be sure you comment and say something cool because then we might mention you on the podcast.
We've done that a few times in the past.
Oh, we've done that quite a few times.
because some people have some really good things to say.
That's right.
And you can always still follow us on Chatter Squadron, all one word, on Instagram and be mentioned on the show, like screen name Son of Hippies and Matthew Worthrich24, all commenting on our Instagram. You can be those people.
Be a part of the conversation.
Try and be those people.
Listen to the whole episode. Pay attention to both of those social media profiles because in the future we're going to start bringing you more video content.
And of course, you can always listen to all of our podcasts anywhere you find fine podcasts. That's right, fine podcasts like the one we're getting back to right now, gentlemen.
Let's go.
Welcome to Cooking Advice. This is Tyler Bucks
Stir
with
whip.
Cooking.
Stir with.
I have a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Betty.
Hey, Betty, what kind of issues are you having?
I'm trying to cook a live turtle.
Yes, we have the turtle on line 2. Turtle?
Hi.
Hey, Turtle, what's your name?
My name's Bill.
Hey, Bill, what's the issue that's causing you not to be cooked?
What? Well, I'm currently in a boiling pot of water, so she's trying really hard. But
Oh, so then what is your problem, Betty?
I just don't feel like there's a connection between us.
Wow.
you're trying to cook me. I'm trying to escape. This is terrifying.
Well, that has been Cooking with Tyler Bucks. I need to go back to my other show. Hey, guys.
That was him building.
Where did
That
he
was
go?
me.
Where were you?
I was just
We were sitting here waiting for us to record.
I was just around the corner.
What's that woman doing with a pot?
Nothing. How was the break for you guys?
Oh, boy. It was great.
Oh.
I had a good time.
laughed, we cried.
I went to Cedar Point.
Really?
You went to Cedar Point?
Yeah.
Is it a little frozen up there?
Yes.
You know what was crazy? I went to go get the salt off my windshield, and I went to grab the at the gas station how they have those things that clean off your windshield.
It's
went to grab
frozen.
it. It was frozen.
Yep.
I wanted to get to the punchline, Tyler.
That was a punchline.
You know what I mean?
That means that stuff is not really window cleaner.
No,
because
it's not.
window cleaner has alcohol in it.
It must
so
be
it wouldn't
water.
freeze.
I know it must be watered down. Or
Yeah, I'm gonna make a huge guess and think it's like a 30-70 mix of water
No,
and
it's literally some guy in the back pouring a bunch of water in a bucket and then blue dye.
Ink. You're just spreading ink all over your windshield.
Yeah, they'll never know.
whoa.
Man, oh man, was he a cartoon?
Yes.
Oh,
You
was
see,
wearing-
I see, I see.
I've
wearing-
done seen everything. I ain't never seen no one clean their windshield with real window cleaner.
He's got suspenders.
You know what? It sounds like one of those guys in Oregon that pumps your gas.
Oh my God, that's
Well,
the story. That's the news for you right there.
There's a service gas station right across from my house.
Really? I did not know that.
Oh yeah, I know that.
That gas
no
station.
one goes there.
No one goes there, especially not me. I go. I mean,
Around it.
obvious. The closest gas station to my house is 2 minutes, or maybe even a minute. But that's the thing. I drive past that my gas station
Yep.
to go to another.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Chatter Squadron. We're going to be talking about our other movies that we watched. Once again, these are all fan films. These are all ones that Calhoun found for us, and they are all entertaining in some way or another.
That's true.
I'm definitely glad that they exist rather than they don't exist.
Yes.
Yes. I want to get to Calhoun's, but first, because we just watched part of Johnny's.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny, do you want to explain yours, because yours is pretty
Cool.
It's the coolest.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Mine was Revan. It's just the title. This is done 2015.
Cool.
You have to have intimate knowledge of the video games to know who some of the characters are. I've played both the games, and I didn't know who they were talking about because I don't know if did you play KOTOR 2?
I haven't played
No,
two.
never.
Okay, it's no point in me even talking about like the character then. But it has Revan,
Right.
which you know who Revan is. The guy who plays Revan does an okay job. It starts with Anakin in the bedroom scene where it's not actually Anakin, but it's him shirtless,
Doing his best.
shirtless in a bedroom with his wife beside him.
Waking up.
Yeah, waking up
Cool.
after having a weird dream.
This is something I asked you while we were watching it. I just want to clarify for the listeners. Since it's Revan and Knights of the Old Republic, what time period does it take place?
This is like 1,000 years before.
Okay.
I believe
Oh,
it's
it's
like it's 3,000 years before.
Is it 3,000?
Yeah,
I thought it was
I'll
like
look up
1,000.
as you talk.
Okay.
1,000 is the time of Bane.
Oh. Well, anyway, regardless. Yeah, it opens with him. He's the best part of the movie, or one of the best parts of the movie. He's just he's a mediocre actor, but he convinces you, at least when you're watching him.
Okay.
They do an all right job with wardrobe. Bastille is married to him for some reason. I don't really sure why. They don't really address that.
Oh,
There's
so she was an actual character.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a line that there's a love story you can follow in that, but I think she only ends up with you if you're evil. But I don't know. It's whatever.
Let
Anyway.
me interject that it was 3,956 years before A New Hope.
Oh dang. Okay. Wow. Very long time ago. Same technology apparently, but so yeah, the whole thing about it is, I've had these dreams about who I used to be, and my memory's been erased, so I have to go to I get visions of this horrible Sith planet with there's
People with horribly disfigured faces.
Yes, that's right. So, yeah, he's talking about Droman Koth. I don't know if everybody knows anything about that planet, but it's like this in the games. Actually, it's in also the MMO, Old
Yeah.
Republic. It's this planet where the true Emperor lives, and it's like a Sith planet. And that's where they go after the Jedi defeat them in the Great Jedi War. So, yeah, he's like having dreams about that. And then they switch from him to this guy he's supposed to be a true-born Sith. So that's the guy with the red on their faces and like they have the two, like they're almost like mustaches.
Yeah, it looked like a handlebar mustache made of red.
It's like
burned
red
flesh.
Yes, but they made these masks. I think they're homemade or something. They're like a really tough silicone or something. And so when the actors wear them, they can barely talk
or move their face or
anything. So it's like
they looked like they were having trouble emoting or even moving their jaw.
And they weren't. They looked like bubble gum. They weren't like super distinct. Like if it's like I don't want you to picture like Mission Impossible masks. These are not like that. These are like melted candle on the face.
Let me put it this way. When I came out of the bathroom while you guys were watching this, I thought you were watching a funny thing.
Oh.
But no, like this dude's face was like jacked up bad.
If they just had a still of it though, and they're like, "This is going to be our bad guy," I'd kind of be pumped. I'd kind of be like, "This is going to be rad" because he looks freaky,
right?
Maybe in the right lighting. But yeah, as soon as they spoke, I was disappointed.
Another thing that Calhoun pointed out that I didn't really notice until he was watching it with me is how loud the music is.
Oh yeah,
like, you can barely hear what people say. I always like. And maybe this is because I'm weird. I liked when there's more subtle, when people aren't yelling things. Because I watched the two other ones before this.
Yeah.
And they're like practically yelling all their lines, and it really annoyed me. So this one, they're a lot softer talking. I was like, oh, I kind of like that. But, you know, it's annoying when the music's so loud you can't hear what people are saying.
So he's, what you're saying is he's looking for the Emperor, or what's his goal?
He's got this dream about this place, and he wants to go find out where it was really vague. He was like, I have to go find out where this thing is in my dream. I'm going to go meet Amanda Lorian and find the mask.
Amanda Lorian. Do I know her?
Amanda.
He's got to go find Amanda Lorian, and she's going to help. She has the keys to the Republic. I don't know.
The keys to the city. She has the codes to Zion, and we're gonna kidnap her.
Yep.
I present the key to the city to Amanda Lorian. Dude did such a great job organizing this parade.
Thank you, Amanda Lorian.
Now that's a holiday special joke for you. They're being chased down by Amanda Lorian.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good stuff. Okay. That's gold. Oh my Lord, I'm crying.
Anyway. So there's this.
We didn't mention that this movie's an hour and 16 minutes long.
It's very long.
This fan film that you're talking about is it's feature length, which is super impressive.
Yeah.
But keep going.
So they
make it to the planet?
First they actually, do they make it to the planet? I don't think they ever do.
Oh Lord!
No, they do. They do.
Okay.
To the very end. I don't remember much because I was like, "What is this?"
Well, it's like a fever dream, so I can understand.
Yeah, but the Mandalorian's like, "All right, the only way you can stop, the only way we can have power again." Well, it's like this whole sidetrack thing where we have to go get this mask of the dead Mandalore, the Mandalore Ultimate or whatever. Yeah. So the Mandalorians don't go to war with the Republic again, which is has nothing to do with his dream. But they're like, we need to do it. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna go tell Bastila we have to go, and he's like, all right, we both have news, Bastila. I'll tell you mine first. And she's like, no, let me tell you mine first. And then you're like, oh no, is it gonna be she's pregnant? And she's like, I'm pregnant.
Yes, there's only so many twists you can throw into a fan film, and you got to throw them all in, man. All of them.
Really, every single one. And he's like, oh, well, you can't leave now. You have to raise our son. And I was like, wait, how do you know it's a son? But anyway.
What do you mean raise? Like was she about to give, or did she already give birth?
No, she hadn't given birth.
He just never noticed.
She's just pregnant, and he's like, you have to stay here. I could be gone for months, she said.
Okay.
Yeah, he says months. I'm like, well, what if we got too long? Okay.
That's not like the craziest amount of time someone can be gone.
He said, well, you don't want to give birth on a weird planet. I
Did he say a weird planet?
He's like a foreign planet or
okay.
whatever. I'm paraphrasing.
I wanted them to say weird.
Yeah, he said like no foreign planet where he doesn't know what's going on.
You don't want to on this planet. It's like a planet out of Star Wars or something.
Yeah,
This planet's totally bogus.
they're on Coruscant, by the way. Bogus, dude. So he goes with Canderous. I don't know if you remember him. Do you remember him? He's in the first game.
A can of Duris.
Cant of distress. But anyway, he goes with Canderous to this ice world, which I don't know how else to refer to it.
Yeah.
Where they find the Ordo clan, because his last name is Canderous Ordo.
Got it.
That's his clan name. So they go find the...
Oh, this is the like commando type guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Mandalorian. He just doesn't look like one. He doesn't wear the armor or whatever. They have homemade armor. Okay, they meet with the clan Ordo. They have the armor, but it's like made and it's kind of messed up and stuff. They tried though, but one of them's like wearing hockey pads. I'm not wearing hockey pads. But anyway.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
They're wearing like blue colored hockey pads and stuff. And you know what? They tried. And then they meet Canderous' wife. But the way you find out is just
so many wives in this film.
So many wives. Surprise wives. This one's a surprise because like they're talking to her and she's like, I'm going to kill you, Jedi. Because the Mandalorian's trying like Jedi. And, And and then this brilliantly acted Patch Eye guy.
I
comes
taught
out,
him.
he's like, I got to tell you, don't judge the captain too harshly. She's been under a lot of stress. Also, she's his wife. You're like, okay.
Yeah, that was an odd reveal, but he acted it pretty darn well.
He was the best actor, man, besides Revan.
In the world?
In the world.
Wow.
I'm looking at you, Tyler.
So many good people in this.
Man.
I'm the world.
You're the world now.
Go for it.
Anyway, what? Anyway,
So loopy this episode.
So back to the Sith guy, because they just keep switching back and forth. I'm like, man, just choose one. Because, just like, you go in the middle of, oh, yeah, there's all this tension, and then they switch back to this bubblegum Sith guy, and you can't hear anything he's saying. And
The music's loud. He can't speak through the little mouth hole.
But apparently, his whole thing is there's this super emperor who lives on Droman Kaas, and he meets one of the Dark Council, which is like the council that calls themselves the Dark Council. Like, we're the bad guys.
Like the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, it's like, are we the good guys?
I feel like this thing's called the Death Star.
Yeah.
That's what everyone keeps calling it.
Yeah. But anyway, so this guy, this lady on the Dark Council is like,
She's beautiful, by the way.
she has a bubblegum face too.
But it's like a human bubblegum face.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like flesh colored, but like bubblegum. I don't know why they would do it for this person. Anyway, so she's trying to convince him that the Emperor's crazy, and then they do this flashback to why he's crazy and where he comes from. And he like did a Darth Nihilus. Do you remember what Darth Nihilus did?
Of course.
So he just like gets a bunch of Sith together and is like, oh, we have to do this ritual and we'll all be powerful. And then he just like absorb all their force, and then it does some chain reaction.
He absorbs. How does that? What?
I don't know, force drain or something. They didn't really explain
okay.
it. He's just like, oh, and he does this ritual where he sucks all the force out of all the Sith in the area, and then all of the world. He sucks out all the force of this entire world.
Though that's kind of like what Bane did too with the thought bomb.
Yeah.
How did they show it though? How did they show?
I'm enjoying.
That's the key.
I'm enjoying putting visuals into my head, and that's why I think everyone should pause some parts of this episode to at least look at how things are shot, so you can get an idea.
Yeah.
So they're all on a beach, and there's just a bunch of people who are in a Grim Reaper clothes, just like black hoods, and everything.
Of course.
And they're all like got their arms out, like they're holding two invisible orbs in each hand, and they're just like putting them to the sky and being like,
They're making a spirit bomb.
I don't know. It looks like a spirit bomb. They're all making a spirit bomb, and then all of them fall down except him, and he's standing in the middle. But they shoot him like profile. He's like on the side, so you're like, it was weirdly shot.
Was it green screen as well? There was a lot of green screen.
I don't know if it was.
Okay.
It might have been maybe the background.
Okay.
They were on a beach somewhere.
Gotcha.
And so, and then there was like a wipe because he takes all the force out of the whole world.
Cool.
And yeah,
That's
cool.
Does it
super
show
cool.
the planet though? Like, does it show like a wide view of the planet, like getting covered?
Remember when we watched that scene where they go out and you're like, oh, it's hot there.
Yes.
That's them landing on the planet.
Oh wow!
So it's like a desert now. 'Cause
yeah,
he wiped
There's
out
just
all life.
heat emanating.
Yeah. So they like go back to it, and he's like, I don't believe you. He's like, and this is a great point. The bubblegum guy brings up a great point. The lady's like, this is why we have to.
This is the bubblegum lady.
The bubblegum lady's like, oh, right, we have to get rid of him because he just has no control. He's just going to suck all the life out of everyone. And then, there's no force at all. And then the guy's like, well, that's what we do. That's what Sith do. We like kill tons of people. That just makes it cooler. Like he says something along that lines. And she's like, it's different. And that's how it's left at. And I was like, wait, but not really. Like Malik kills like all of Terrace.
Right,
And
right,
everyone's
right.
like, oh, he's a good Sith. But I don't really get why. And Nihilus kills a whole planet.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what a good Sith. Why does this make it different? I don't know. But then the guy agrees. They go to the planet and he sees what the Emperor did. And he's like, you're right. We have to get rid of the Emperor.
Wow, that's weird.
It's really weird.
So you're saying he hates sand?
He hates sand.
He just shows up.
Goes to
It's
the
all
desert,
sand.
Sand. He's like, you know what? I feel like someone 3,000 years from now will agree with me when I say I hate sand.
This is too far.
Yeah, this is too far. He created so much sand.
This is too far. I'm a little disappointed that on the sandy planet, it's emanating with heat. There isn't like a bunch of glass everywhere.
I know. It would have
wow.
been cooler. But
Maybe that's what happened to their faces.
Oh man!
oh my god, they went there once and then they came back bubblegum.
Bubblegum.
Anyway, go
We're
back.
the Bubblegum Clan.
Han Solo, you're a dead man.
The bubblegum clan.
You never should have made a deal with Bubblegum Clan. I never made a deal with Bubblegum Clan. Tell that to Bubblegum Clan.
The doors open and they're just like,
But the music is super loud.
and
We're being super harsh, but these people made these masks.
A whole film.
And I couldn't make a
An
mask
hour
like
and
that.
16 minutes. They probably had them custom made.
Yeah.
Oh,
When the,
getting into the makeup had to have been tough.
sorry,
might have.
I just need to say when the things in Force Awakens eat them, there's a shot of them like chewing bubble gum and making a bubble. A Bubblegum Clan.
The Rakthars or whatever.
Yeah,
they're called.
Raktar
That
or
would
something.
be great.
Yeah.
And it's just they blow a bubble.
Anyway, okay, so they're on this. They're going back to Revan. He's with Canderous, and they find this clan with his wife, and
Yep.
then they get attacked by another Mandalorian clan.
Okay.
And then there's a huge battle, and they all like fight, and it's whatever. It was pretty good.
Was that at least
we
fun?
watched it, and then
Yeah.
that was they had a CGI that was okay, not great. There was some polygons.
I was impressed.
You were impressed, yes.
Because
were
it's
impressed.
so hard to make something like
you
this.
know, it
to make
is.
something rather than nothing is what's impressive most
That's
of
true.
all.
That's true. Yeah, it was all right. I liked. I think
Some parts of it were pretty interesting.
I think the problem was that all the enemies were people in like jumpers with like green glasses, and I was like,
Oh, I
that's
see.
a Mandalorian or what? I don't. Okay,
Jumpers with green.
so
But here's
great
the key
visuals.
point though. Would you recommend
Watching it.
no, it's too long. It really was, and I'll just tell you that when the ending comes, it really made me be like, what? Why did I watch this?
Oh no.
Because so
Yeah,
you know what? You can watch it. It's fine. But
Start moving towards the end
It's
because
almost
I
at the
saw
end.
the end. Yeah.
it's almost at the end. Then they go and he's like he has a dream. He's like, okay, oh, the mask is not here, so they go to frickin' the mask, and he shows up with Canderous, and then his wife comes in. Canderous' wife comes in, and she's like, I'm gonna have to kill both of you because you guys are bad because you like the Jedi.
Y'all bad.
Y'all bad. You like the Jedi, and so she like goes to kill them, and of course they kill her. Or Canderous has to kill his wife, and like they do the whole thing where it's a blaster shot, and you think the wife shot Revan.
Yeah.
But then, of course, she falls down and it's Candace holding the gun and he drops it, shaking hands like, I killed my wife. And you're like, okay.
Johnny is like, whatever.
I'm the ultimate critic.
That could be really, that could be really.
It wasn't, it's a cool thought, but like, I don't know.
It's a cool thought to kill your wife.
Yeah, it's a cool thought to kill your wife. And then it just cuts to now Candace is Mandalore Ultimate. He puts on the mask and then Revan's like, I gotta go, see ya, and then leaves on the Ebon Hawk.
Cool for him.
Yeah, cool for him. And then he just like, I gotta go to the place, and he goes to Drummond Cross for some reason. So he shows up at Drummond Cross, and the Sith make his thing crash, and they capture him.
Cool.
And then the exile from KOTOR 2 shows up. She's like, I'm gonna go find your husband, Bastila, because you're pregnant and I have a son. She's like, I want to go save my husband, and she's like, you can't, you have a son. And she's like, you're right.
Darn kids.
Wait, so it had been like 9 months.
It had been like over 9 months, and she's like, I don't know where my husband is. I haven't heard anything.
That's wild.
And then, the exile goes to Drummond Cross and finds the bubblegum guy, and he's like, we need to kill the Emperor. And she's like, all right, we'll work together. And then they go and face off against some Jedi at this like temple place, or it's like the base where they find Revan, and then they give Revan his mask.
Cool.
And he becomes Super Revan.
Is that supposed to imply that that's how he got his mask? Or is that
No.
already established in the real canon stories?
That's in the real canon. He wore that mask.
Right.
And then, because they use it in a reveal in the video game. But anyway, so...
Cool mask.
It's a cool mask. He puts on the mask, he becomes super, and he like kills everyone. And then right as he like defeats Lady Bubblegum, they start talking over. There's like a voiceover, and they're like, and then they went to face the Emperor, and he was too powerful, and they all fell, and
Really?
And then Revan just waited on Drummond Cross and distracted the mind of the Emperor so he didn't attack the Republic.
There's
and then it
so
ended.
much exposition
That
in
had
this film.
ended.
That's
They
weird.
didn't show anything, and
What?
you're like, and then the last shot is just the Emperor to play with a fireball.
Yes, he was playing with a
That's
fireball.
a little
I saw that.
disappointing.
And then I know I was like,
There was so much leading up to it.
I'm like, you could have cut out like half of those scenes if you just added something at the end.
So then, what's that do to the score? 1 in 10.
You know what? They put so much effort into it. It's an hour and 16 minutes. I say like at least a 5.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
But like a wardrobe was okay.
Right.
You know, effects were but they were okay.
Dude, I'm going to watch this.
How many points did the faces take off?
That took away. Like it would have been a 9. No,
Almost the Last
no.
Jedi.
I don't know. It was just no.
All right. Well, let me jump into mine because mine was really interesting. Because it was called Regrets of the Past, and I chose it. And the first scene, everything starts off, and I'm taking notes or whatever, and then they're talking, and I was so thrown off. I'm like, man, their audio is not matching up at all. Until I realized what the parentheses EN means, which this film that I'm going to talk about originally was in German. To be able to search it, you can search Regrets of the Past - Star Wars fan film parentheses EN for English. So I showed these guys a little bit of it.
I liked it. It looked pretty nice.
It looks extremely professional.
Yes.
And from their description, it said that they were professionals who came together to make this because they were fans. They start off with an opening crawl. The music is not the same music, but it's like the closest not real Star Wars music you could probably get. Just like dun, dun, dun,
Generic.
dun, dun, dun. Like every time they're supposed to hit a specific note, it's a different note. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You're like, wait a
Dun,
second.
dun, 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 dun. Like, oh, okay. I mean, it's close. The graphics, and I'll put it this way, which isn't a bad thing, especially for a fan film. They're very video game like. You can tell that it's not like top shelf, but it's still passable. You still see everything, the shadows, everything. You know, it looks real, and so do the costumes. The costumes,
I didn't think they were bad.
right? The costumes look like something that people would, buy, say, a Jedi costume and buy like a jacket, and then they kind of made it their own, as opposed to just.
They're not wearing hockey pads.
Right. As opposed to just buying, say, like a Jedi costume online and then just putting it on. They made each thing kind of their own. So this film takes place. I'm guessing they didn't really pinpoint it, but it seems like maybe like 15 years after Order 66, and it starts off with them being hunted down by a bounty hunter, and I'm guessing because of the fact that they are Jedi. So they're being hunted down, and there's a nice little chase. And this whole film, and I want to preface with this, is really, really good. The thing that drags it down is the dialogue, because I showed these guys. There's this fight scene, and there's this tense music and everything, and then they talk for about a minute just about the fact that they're in a chase.
This is the space scene?
Right. The very first scene, they're just kind of talking for a little while about going back and forth. And
While they have someone on their tail shooting at them.
Right. And I even listened to the German version just to make sure, like, okay, maybe they're giving a little more spunk or whatever, and it's carrying it. Not really. It's just sort of the fact of, like that, I guess they wanted to add in a lot of stuff to get these characters connection, but it kind of throws off the film. And that's something you guys just need to know for
going into
it. They each shoot each other's ships to the point where they're going to crash.
Okay.
They crash onto a planet, and you start seeing how much work they put into it, where you get a shot of the apprentice climbing out of basically a crater, and there's fire and dirt all over the place, and mechanical parts all over. And then there's a stare down between the Jedi Master and this Mandalorian bounty hunter.
Now, I saw a clip of it.
Yes.
He didn't have typical Mandalorian armor, but it was implied that he was Mandalorian?
Yes, because of the armor, and also there's a Mandalorian crest on the
I see. Okay.
Ship, on his or her ship. They didn't really preface what it was, but there was great. Like I said, this is voiced over in English. Great English actors.
Okay.
Giving their performances. There's the person who does the bounty hunter is great at whatever they did with the fake, language and everything. So basically, there's a stare down. The Jedi Master throws their lightsaber, and the bounty hunter shoots the blade of the lightsaber and shoots it away. Like it's flying.
I don't know really how
It was flying.
That works?
It was flying at the bounty hunter, and it was. In the suit, it kind of, you could tell it's like a little annoyed almost, and like bam, and shoots it just like pew, and it goes away.
Never seen that happen.
And then the classic shot of the bounty hunter, and then all of a sudden just blue light from basically in his or her chest, and it's the Padawan killing the bounty hunter. And this
that was a cool scene.
At this point, she faints from being hurt, and the master catches her, and it's the second or third time he says his catchphrase, which is "Lucky me."
Oh no!
Oh God!
He says it. I think I counted 6 times.
Wow!
That's
a lot.
Of like
that's more than Obi-Wan when he says, "I have a bad feeling about this."
Right. It's that I think that was their kind of ploy to not make it like Star Wars. They're riding off of something. This is this guy's own thing, but he says it so often, and just like lucky me.
I want to hear the German.
It's not exactly
version.
something you would expect to hear from like a wise master,
right? And especially for that context when she faints and he catches her. Right, lucky me, because he doesn't even he immediately is annoyed that he caught her.
Lucky me.
And so he catches her.
Wish you would have died.
Right. Why couldn't you have just died? So let's see. We get a shot a little far back that someone is on the planet, seeing them about to crash, and this is a dark Jedi, and he goes and meets his master and the other dark Jedi with him, and the master is a Twi'lek male who has like the Leku, which is their tendrils, around his neck, and he's all blue and he has spiky teeth. He looks really good. The one thing I would say though is he's showing his teeth a lot.
Oh.
And it sort of feels like
They're doing it on purpose.
they're doing it either on purpose or he kind of has to because he might have like.
Oh, I see.
But like the whole time, he's just like his mouth is wide open. Yeah, every time he says anything, it's just wide open.
Okay.
So basically, they're just in this room. Hey, there's people here. There's ships. We can finally get off this planet. And they're like, cool. And the main thing they wanted to show is that they have a Sith holocron.
Is it the pyramid shape?
Yes, it's like a Sith, like
Knew it. You knew it.
They're always pyramids. Am I wrong?
but it looks like they got it like right off of a movie set. Like it looks great.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't know what they look like, so I'll have to
They're
look it up later.
pyramids.
But I mean, what material does it appear to be made of?
It's like gold with
Pyramid materials.
think of like a big gold pyramid
So it's gold. Okay.
with like
No, not
a
necessarily.
ruby inside of it being like red and
They're like
everything.
glass.
So-
Yeah.
Right, sort of, yeah. Let's see. So they're walking through the woods. Once again, more dialogue, just basically like her being like, this sucks, and the master being like,
Lucky me.
the master being like, it doesn't suck that bad. You know, just how everything. This isn't a ploy on them. It's just a poke at everybody who has this master apprentice thing. They always do a thing where the apprentice is so like, this is so lame, and the master's always like, yeah, but we can learn something. That's like always the plot
Mr.
line.
Miyagi.
Right. And I believe this is when they go to a flashback, and there's 4 younglings sat by a lake, and then there's that master, the blue guy, talking to them all about this Sith holocron, and it's showing all of them, and then it gets to the final one, who's a little girl who is a Zebrak, which is the same Hornheads, same like
Darth Maul.
Which I should point out, her makeup as an older person, which is the girl apprentice, is spot on. Like
Nice.
it's the horns don't look fake at all. She has like a little bit of markings on her face. Looks really crisp and clean. And
Does she have Sith tattoos like Darth Maul?
no, she just has. Normal complexion, but they all kind of have tattoos.
Oh,
which is
I remember.
Yeah, just like
She looks cool.
a single line on her face and coming down, I believe. But that gives it away of, these are them when they're younger.
Okay.
And those other 3 are the, students we just met. So basically he's like, hey, this is pretty cool, right, kids? Like trying to sell
Try
kids
some drugs.
Yeah,
You want to buy some death sticks?
right. Trying to sell kids drugs, basically, at this point. And he's passing it around, and they're taking it, and then when she takes it, it like lights up, and he's like, "Oh, like it chose you," type thing, and then she gets called away, and that
It was the Millennium Puzzle.
The Millennium Puzzle.
She goes to the Shadow Realm.
Yugi. Wait, you're not Yugi. Who are you?
You're a girl with horns for head. I'm out of here.
Oh, I do apologize. They didn't do that walking scene in the woods yet. That's right after this, but
That's fine.
she wakes
How dare you.
up after this flashback. So
Oh,
apparently
I see.
that's what she was remembering after. So okay, she faints. She hears "Lucky me" as she goes away, and then she has this flashback, and then she wakes up.
Gotcha.
And she's super angry. She starts lifting stones,
Oh, no.
saying like, "We're on this planet, and I can't. It's so dumb that we're on this planet." and she's
How
lifting the
dare we.
stones, and she throws one of the stones at her master, and her master's like, pew, like dodges it or whatever, like hits it away, and then she's like, oh my gosh, I could have seriously hurt you, and the master's like, well, you couldn't seriously hurt me. No, I don't think,
me.
I don't think he said.
wish that's what he
I don't think he said something like that. But that's sort of what happens. Let's see. Yeah, so it's good effects of the stones lifting up. The master's like, you couldn't have learned this from me. You know, I'm a good master. Where's all this anger coming
I
from?
don't teach you stone lifting yet.
That's level 2.
Now there's a cut, and this is a big surprise to me. They go to a Star Destroyer, right?
What?
Oh.
And
Do they show the star? How does the shot look?
yeah,
Does it
it's
look
like
good?
from above, and it looks
Nice.
really good.
Ooh.
And that you got your TIE fighters flying, and then you see like an admiral or whatever walking towards Darth Vader. And Darth Vader's in this, and he's standing next to another like officer or something. And the first thing I notice is this Darth Vader's not that tall. He's about the same size as the officer next to him. And, you know, in the old movies, they did it specifically so that he's, you know, this guy's
Super
like,
tall.
Yeah.
I believe
Towering.
who played him was like 6'9" or something like that. You know, the original Darth
Scary.
Vader, super tall, and all the officers were probably cast to be very small next to him. The first thought that popped into my mind was they found a guy who has a Darth Vader costume and said, if you're in this movie, you can be Darth Vader. You know,
Or if you let us borrow it,
That's how
you can play it.
Right.
That's how
sort
they
of
do
thing.
it with the Stormtrooper thing. That lending program thing.
Yeah, and that's there's stormtroopers later on, and I'll start skipping closer to that. But it's an amazing thing where he basically gets told like, hey,
He being Darth Vader.
Darth Vader
Okay.
is told the Emperor wants to talk to you. So he's like, ugh. I roll behind the helmet, and he walks into the room from Empire Strikes Back, and it looks exactly like the room that he kneels down and talks to the Emperor.
Wow. That's impressive.
About
impressive.
right, the Emperor. The Emperor, they had pretty good face makeup and
Yeah,
everything.
that was really good.
It's a good good voice they used for him and everything. And basically he says that they know that they have that holocron on that planet and that girl is there. And the Emperor wants that girl because he wants to train her. And Darth Vader is like super jealous, which is kind of funny. But because he's talking about the girl and how he wants to train her, and they do this shot of like her holding the holocron, all dressed evil like, and like hundreds of TIE fighters flying behind her.
What?
As she's like turning around in slow motion, and then like Darth Vader's like, so do you want to teach her? And he's like, yes.
So I guess you want to make her your girlfriend. I mean, you want to teach her.
right. Your girl. Right. So he's like, yes, I do.
You wouldn't know her. She's on another planet.
Yes, I do. And then he gets up, Vader, and he's like clenching his fist, like, no, this sucks. And then it cuts back.
It's like, I'm choking on my consequences. Or what was that? Your
Don't
aspirations?
joke on your aspirations.
This is when the Jedis have that heart to heart where basically she's like, I'm sorry I got mad. And he's like, you need to learn, basically. And they decide we're going to go find the bounty hunter ship because we can most likely take that to get off this planet. So they're like, okay. And, you know, she's like, we should take his ship. And he's like, that's a great idea. Lucky me. I don't know if he says lucky. I did.
Lucky
I should have put down.
I'm putting that in
I
every
should have
line.
put down every time he says lucky me.
So we can look forward to it when we watch it.
Right. So then we click to the Dark Jedi about to hunt them down, and they're like, oh, I sense that these are actual Jedi. These aren't just like normal pirates like we thought. Like, cool. So they go to basically attack them, and we get another thing where they're just talking about the Force. The Jedi Master and the Jedi Apprentice, and then they cut to another flashback. So it's a flashback to the Jedi Temple, and this is what I mean by
This is really like involved.
right, and that's what I wanted to preface. This whole thing's so involved. There's a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue
like they
that
could've-
slows the pacing down.
Yeah, they could have cut some
Right.
stuff of that out.
So it goes back, and it's a guy. One of the guys has a scar. So it goes back, and it's a kid who has a scar, and then the Twi'lek girls. So oh, they knew each other, and they were like practicing lightsaber battling as their masters are walking, talking about, listen, the Jedi Council don't know what's going to happen, and we need to get out of here to save ourselves. And I have a Sith holocron, and the other masters like, what? That's crazy. Like, why are you telling me this?
You're a Sith.
Right. Exactly. That's like, he was so like,
That's a Millennium Puzzle.
right. He's like, what the heck? Why do you have that thing? It's like if somebody at work or whatever was like, these bosses don't know what we need to do here. I know. It's kind of crazy. Right. That's
I have a gun.
Right. That's why I have this. Sorry, I had to bleep myself. That's why I have this freaking gun. And you just have to be like, oh my God, why do you have that gun?
Why do we even have guns?
Right.
It's like embrace the dark side.
Right. What are you talking
Kill
about?
our boss.
I think I'm going to take a long lunch because I don't know what's happening.
I have a quick question, though.
Go for it.
Did any of this film involve a pregnant person, though? Because that's
No.
what I was really happy about with Johnny.
I'm not involved until there's someone who
There's
goes,
so many pregnant
I'm
people.
pregnant.
I'll try and wrap it up. There's no pregnancy.
Oh,
man.
no.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
what we
Well,
were
she goes,
leading up
oh,
to.
I'm so frustrated. I saw that Sith holocron. I'm pregnant.
I was hoping, the Sith holocron was going to be like, by the way, you're pregnant.
By the way, I'm pregnant.
What if they
You're
were
a holocron?
What if they? By the way, I'm pregnant and Yugi's the father because it's a Millennium Puzzle. No. Here's what I really wanted to say though.
Yes.
What if the Sith holocron was just like one of those magic 8 balls, and they just like turned it over and it just said no.
It just
But I
said,
didn't
you're
even ask-
pregnant. That's what Sith holocrons are. You pee on them, and it tells you if you're pregnant or not.
Why are they Sith then?
I don't know. Jedi ones do them too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just it's a really cool pregnancy test.
I like that it also doesn't discriminate for men and women. It lets them both know whether they're pregnant.
You're
or
not pregnant.
Yeah.
You're a man.
Hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You
That's
never
true.
know.
He was pregnant that one time.
Okay, so this whole backstory thing was basically just for him to say, the Twi'lek master to say, I want the girl because the holocron reacted to her.
Obviously, she has some dark sides in her.
The master gets. We flash forward to them still walking. The master gets tired and tries to drink from his water. There's no water in his water
Lucky
cup.
me.
Lucky me. I have it down here. We get another lucky me. He says, he's like, lucky me. And the apprentice is like, I'll go get you some water. And he's like, lucky me. No, he doesn't say that. But he's like, okay, cool, thanks. This is when we get the sorry.
What if
Johnny is
What
tickled.
if he makes a cereal and then people ask, where's Lucky Charms? And he goes, lucky me.
That was the dumbest joke I've ever heard.
That was
I know.
painful
I know,
to get to
I
the
know,
end of.
I know.
But I accept it.
Yes, that was my favorite one too.
It's
Okay.
my favorite joke on the Citadel.
I'm gonna skip over a lot of this bulk because the overview is they find the Dark Jedi find the normal Jedi. There's some battling that goes on. The Master comes out and says, there's a point where he can kill the Scar Kid guy can kill Zabrek girl, the Jedi apprentice, and the Sith Master says, do it. Basically, it's the same exact scene.
Do it.
Right.
Do it.
Seriously. He's like, do it, kill her. And I'm sitting there going, wait, didn't we just see a flashback where he wanted the girl like years and years and years ago?
Yeah.
Why kill her anyway? So
bummer.
the Scar guy says, no, I'm not going to do it. So Scar guy and Sith Master fight a little bit, and they do this thing, which every kid ever who's ever fought has done where they are at a standoff and then they run at each other and then boom, and then the master falls. You know what I mean?
Oh, like a typical samurai
Right.
bushido kind of like running.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But there is a good effect where he cuts, I think he runs without a lightsaber, catches it, and cuts him, and you see a good slash, through him type thing.
Cool.
And then the other Sith or the Dark Jedi are like, "Oh man, our master's dead." Like they feel it, and it's at this point where they see that the Empire is there. They know now, and basically there's this point where they go, "Okay, we have to work together." And it was at that point where the Dark Jedi and the normal Jedi have this kind of standoff and are like, "Okay, we kind of have to work together at this point to get off this planet and survive." That it appeared to me, and if you watch it and you've ever watched Power Rangers growing up, like the newer Power Rangers, it's shot just like that. Like
an episode, you mean, not the movie.
Right. Like the effects are shot just like it. The fighting is kind of shot just like it. The dialogue is kind of vague, just like Power Rangers and everything. And it was just them standing there like in a wide shot. And it's sort of being like, if those guys were in evil looking Power Ranger costumes and those two were Power Rangers, this would just be a Power Rangers movie.
It was a very typical woods Star Wars scene.
Yes, just this in the woods, just kind of standoff and being like, okay, we got to do this.
It's always in the woods.
It's at that point where the Jedi Master is like, "You did well, Padawan," and he cuts off her Padawan braid. It's a nice little, you're a Jedi Knight now. But how it's shot, if you're not paying close attention, it's just kind of you do hear like a knife sound, like him reaching to get one. And then he like cuts it off really fast. But if you're not paying close attention, it really looks like he just grabs it and rips it off of her head because it's shot so quick. Like, you'll be a great Jedi Master, and then just, and it's gone. And I'm like, I need to backtrack that. Did he just rip it out of her?
I see.
Yeah, you're going to be a great Jedi Knight.
Sucker.
Man, that came off really easy. Lucky me.
Oh man.
So then there's just this thing where Darth Vader lands in his shuttle and walks off with all these stormtroopers, and then it's just like stormtroopers standing in the woods shooting at these guys, and they're all just running at them and they're missing completely, and it's just basically a thing for the Dark Jedi to run straight towards Darth Vader. Vader throws one of them, Scar Guy, and he drops the holocron and he's like incapacitated. He fights the one like really.
Does Darth Vader fight pretty rad though? Like, is the fighting okay?
Not really.
Oh, bummer.
I mean, it's passable.
I saw the rest of it, so I'm imagining that same quality.
Right. Just it's kind of slow, and also they shot it in slow motion.
Oh.
So there's this thing too, like I said, where the pacing is really low for this film. And then for this part, they shot it in slow motion. So it's even lower and like more monotonous. But he like breaks one of their blades basically and like hits the one in the shoulder.
Wait, what?
Yes. The Dark Jedi goes to block his lightsaber and it just like goes through it. Boom. And he hits the guy. And then the other Dark Jedi like gets that guy's lightsaber and it was a pretty good like 2 lightsabers against Darth Vader battle.
Okay.
And then Darth Vader stabs him and kills him pretty outright. And then it's at that point that the Jedi Master is like, okay, you Jedi apprentice, you need to leave. And I have unfinished business with Skywalker. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Nobody knew that Darth Vader was Anakin.
That's disappointing.
People even in the Empire close to him didn't know he was Anakin. Of
course not.
Everyone just thought he died. That's what the
And he kind of did.
The official thing was that he died in Coruscant. like during Order 66. So I don't know. That's either they were setting up that he had known the whole time somehow, or that they just didn't know that.
Wait, but
that wasn't common knowledge.
Just like all these other films that we've watched, they wanted to put a twist in.
Right.
But wait a second. What about 501st? They knew.
I'm sure they did, but
Are you going to not call Darth Vader
Darth Vader? Or
Good
go
point.
tell other people, hey, do you know that that's actually Anakin?
Yeah, did you know that?
That's messed up, right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, man, that's weird. You should go tell him.
I can't really check or anything, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, just take off his mask.
Ask him.
So the girl runs and gets the Scar guy, and they get the holocron, and they start to run. And there's a pretty good battle between the Jedi Master and Darth Vader, which is great because I want to point this out, that during this whole final battle, anytime there is a lightsaber battle going on, there's stormtroopers just standing there, kind of like moving a little bit, not like they're moving with a purpose. They're just kind of standing there, not shooting anything. And it's just like they were there for background scenery. But that's how it was for this battle where he's fighting. And I can guess that Vader wants to fight him alone, but they're just kind of around him, like in a circle, like, hey, guys, he's fighting another one. Let's go check this out. Like that type of thing.
That's Fight Club.
But there's a great scene where during that fight, the Jedi Master gets stabbed and he falls down, and they do this thing where the apprentice falls down at the same time. Like it was shot really well.
But where is she at the time?
Right, running. She's running, and then
I
like
see.
as he falls, it cuts to like basically the same exact shot of her falling as well. Like,
Okay.
And to kind of wrap it up, they just run towards the shuttle, kill like 3 stormtroopers who were guarding it, which wasn't the best idea. And then they get the shuttle, they get out of there, and they both look at the holocron, and Darth Vader watches them leave. He's like, he walks over and he's like, oh man.
He's like, lucky me.
Lucky me.
If only.
Yeah, and they just get out of the planet or whatever and look at the holocron, which is kind of ominous because it's just like on the dashboard.
They're like,
They hang it from the rear
Right.
menu.
And they look
menu.
Mirror.
Yeah,
I don't even know what I'm drunk.
but yeah, they just look at it and they're like, well, I guess we're going to go be evil somewhere. I don't know. They left it really open-ended, and they go into hyperspace, and then boom.
Okay.
guess I'm pregnant.
It started off so strong, too.
Yeah.
Before you give us your final rating,
Yeah.
it sounds like it suffered from a couple other things that fan films suffer from. Wanting to integrate new stuff with stuff that already exists.
Yep.
Because when you got to the Dark Jedi part, I was kind of like, oh man, I feel like if I was watching this, I'd tune that part out. You know?
Yeah.
Like, just what are you doing? I mean, they obviously put a lot of work into it. It looks spectacular.
It looks really
does.
good.
Production value, like, is what I would make me watch it the whole time.
Right.
But the story wise, I was like, this sounds like it's going everywhere at once.
Yes, and that's what it was, and that's why I give it a 6.5. Actually,
Nice.
I enjoyed it a lot. It's just one of those things of, obviously watching it for a purpose, not basically watching it just for fun.
Yeah.
It was tedious in its pacing, and then tedious because it's like, oh, I have to watch this, so I'm just going to watch it type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe in a different time, I would enjoy it more, not having to be any sort of critical. But yeah, I give it a 6.5.
Heck yeah. Well, how long was it? We didn't ask you that.
It was, I would say, about 55 minutes.
That's impressive.
That's
That's a
pretty
long. I mean, obviously, from what we heard, it could probably have been 35 or 30.
Yep.
You could have cut it down. Yeah.
Cut it down a little bit, and that's just from pacing. I would
Yeah.
say I'm big on pacing with films that I like. The problem when everything is going slow, when they had those moments in the woods where they're talking about stuff, it's just another slow scene. Those type of scenes benefit from everything going crazy and then slowing down and driving a point home.
Like the Gandalf talking to Mary while the gate's getting smashed in.
Yep.
That's a great scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
That's a great example. Like I was trying to think of an example. You pulled one right. Yeah, that's perfect.
That's the scene I think of when I think of a slow scene done right. You still know there's tension because you can hear it and see it.
Right.
But you think about what they're saying.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right, mine, which was actually found by you, wasn't on my list, but I had mentioned in the group chat that you were like, it was like you read my mind because I had asked my coworkers when I was putting this list together, have you ever heard of or seen or had anyone hint at a fan film that was made before like YouTube was around or before just the internet kind of existed? My dream was to see like a 1989 fan film put together by you ever seen that short that Seth MacFarlane did when he was a teenager, and it's just him doing an episode of Star Trek, and it's only like 5 minutes long.
Okay,
but it's fun because you get to see what they did, and he's dressing up and he's delivering lines like William Shatner. He's like, Scotty, tell me what the radio, tell me what the engine room is doing, and it was great. I had fun with that, and I was hoping to find something like that. I kind of did in what you showed me. So. It said in the title, it's called The Dark Redemption. And then in parentheses, it says 1999 original or whatever. I was excited just for the fact that it was a 1999 film. So the overall story, a little bit out there, a little bit jumbled, a little bit confusing. But it's only 22 minutes, 24 minutes, somewhere around there. It wasn't a feature-length film. I didn't get to mine. Sorry, guys.
It was like a comedy episode. 30
a sitcom
minutes,
episode?
30 minutes.
Television episode?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a comedy.
Oh, yes.
So I'm not going to go beat by beat over the whole thing, but essentially it was Mara Jade was a main character. Kind of.
She's legend.
But she doesn't get the first billing on the credits, which irritated me. She was like, the first shot was her.
Right.
In like a prison cell. And it looked great.
And even in the crawl, she's like one of the first people.
Yeah. Mara Jade is being, So there was an opening crawl. I'm going to read my notes as far as like my favorite highlights and like my thoughts going by.
Right.
But the story, I'll kind of summarize at the end. So my first note is opening crawl. Awesome! ! I read it. I loved it. And it was a good synopsis of what, or at least I thought it was a good synopsis of what was upcoming. And then the next one is, this is professional as redacted. And then the thing is, everything is in focus.
Yeah.
Now, okay, if you're not familiar with filmmaking, it's just that if you look at old TV episodes like of Doctor Who, everything in the shot is in focus, and that's just the way that they have their focal length set. Mm-hmm. So in films, they'll, like if they do an over-the-shoulder shot, the shoulder isn't in focus because it's supposed to be on the person's face that's talking to them. Yep. Well, in this, it wasn't. In this, it looked like what I said earlier, an episode of Doctor Who or just an episode of television where the sets were built and they were built well, but everything was blanketed in light, like it's an episode of Big Bang Theory or something. Like a open front end set with a live audience kind of thing. So that was a little jarring, but I just had to get used to it because I think it was produced by an actual production house.
It looked really well done.
And that's why I'm excited for people to go watch this one because it's like you said, it's before really the internet took off. Yep. And it's more so for people to just have made something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the notes I had in here was I'm so happy they did it because it was more than just kids wanting to do a lightsaber battle in the woods.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like they thought of a story. They thought of all the characters they wanted to be in it. It seems like they were doing their best to keep to like within the Star Wars universe. They weren't trying to do their own thing too much.
Right.
They were just trying to keep things continuous, I guess.
Okay.
Continuity. Boba Fett was in it, and he looked great.
Yes, he
actually, his costume looked really good.
I think he said more lines than this than he did in the movie.
Yeah, he did. His voice was a little. I mean, but you can choose
wasn't
whatever
bad.
you want Boba Fett to sound like. Really,
Right. And it was before.
Before he was voiced by every clone.
Yeah.
right. I don't know what time period this is supposed to take place because it involves Han Solo having been kidnapped already, I think. But I don't know where Mara Jade is supposed to be. I don't know.
Mara Jade marries Luke in Legends.
Okay. Well,
If that helps at
she's
all.
already a Jedi in this, okay?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's captured on Kessel,
Yep.
which is the storyline, I think.
Spice.
Then she's visited by someone she supposedly knows in her prison cell.
Jesus.
Yeah, she's visited by this guy who looks like Jesus. He gives her a transmission, which is a great prop. It's a CD with a bunch of like circuit boards glued to
Yeah.
it. Loved it. Then, great effect, Kyle Katarn shows up in this little hologram.
That was my favorite character.
And Kyle Katarn with his painted on beard tells
I
her
love paint.
something that she needs to do. The storyline's a little, who cares? It's so fun to watch though, just
Yes.
going from thing to thing. Another thing that pulls it away from like feeling like a Star Wars film outside of everything being in focus and all of the sets being in a very tight shot.
Yeah.
They don't have any weird transitions. I was a little disappointed in that. It's just cut like a TV show.
Yep.
Oh, no
like
wipes?
a TV episode. No wipes. No weird wipes.
Is there any laugh tracks?
No, but there should have been, and a couple times. So there's a couple Sith characters or Force-sensitive characters that are in it, movie related, real movie related. One guy has a scar. He was interesting. He wasn't a very. Everyone was kind of okay at acting. It looked like they were all like professional stage actors, kind of thing. Very earnest with the way they delivered their lines. So I had fun with it. That was fun. Another note I have here is so the opening shot is actually a space shot, just like you have the stars in the opening crawl and they tilt down, and then there's a planet and a.
Star Destroyer.
What is it? Is it? I forget what. Maybe I'm confusing the two. I swear that there was. But anyway, my point is the space shots look great.
Yeah.
The space shots look really good. There's some TIE fighters. Yes, it was a Star Destroyer. Thank you. Underneath a Star Destroyer, actually. And it was lit well, and the TIE fighters flying by it looked really good.
Right.
Still 1999 though.
Still 1999, but it looked like. See, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for the effects to look like 1977 Star Wars, which looked pretty darn good.
Right.
But, 1989, whatever. Yeah. It would be about the same effect. 10 years later, you could recreate that with miniatures, right? Which is what I'm sure they did. There was some CG.
There was a
but it's
little bit of
1999, what kind of person has a home computer that can produce like a lightsaber effect?
Right.
Oh,
The
yeah.
later lightsaber effect was interesting, but I'm glad that they wrote the story as a fun Star Wars story and not just, I want to do this effect.
Right.
That's what was cool. Anyway, synopsis of the story: Mara Jade is captured. She's going to be rescued by some random rebels. They show up. We don't know how they got there. They just show up. My favorite part about these rebels showing up is the two stormtroopers, the two rebels that dress up as stormtroopers. Very typical.
Yeah.
They sound like they're Australian actors trying to do an American accent. Because it sounds like they're struggling so hard with this American accent. But it's fun, it's kind of fun. Turns out, one of them is romantically involved with Mara Jade. And they have this kiss that is really uncomfortable. Because it's just like he grabs the back of her head and then presses his face against hers. They both look like they're not enjoying it, and it looks like he just opens his mouth and just puts it on her.
That's how you kiss, right?
It is uncomfortable. But anyway, another character has ADR, and it's not great. It feels a little off. It feels weird.
Yep.
But everything else sounded actually pretty good. Like they had professional equipment to film this with.
Right.
A lot of backlighting. It's a lot of like I said, Doctor Who. If you watch old Doctor Who,
it looked like a British show.
yeah, it did kind of look like a British TV show.
I think what bothers me most about watching that kind of thing is your brain doesn't focus everything. So when you watch something that everything's focused, it feels weird.
It feels so wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you look at something, you blur out automatically everything else. So when you look at it, everything's in focus. You're like, what?
And it was tough to focus on the things that they wanted you to look at. So like a couple times Mara was being like called to by the Emperor. And this is Emperor Palpatine. So, they had that little bit of continuity. They had a couple cutaways to a cardboard Death Star, which was, hey, it looked good for a cardboard Death Star.
That's true.
But he was like sending her weird messages, and it was supposed to imply that, he's trying to get her to turn to the dark side.
Yep.
This is a little tense.
Yeah.
But it was tough to focus on because everything was in focus, literally. So she stares away off into space, and behind her, the two rescuers are firing into this hallway, but everything looks compressed because of the type of lens they used, and everything's well lit. And every set is built so tiny, like a 10-foot by 20-foot square.
Yeah.
It was...
It's wacky, I think is a good way to put it.
It felt like Pee Wee Herman Star Wars. But everyone was being very earnest. Anyway, at one point, there's like a turn. There's like a betrayal within the Empire characters.
Yes,
and the Force using guy didn't trust the new admiral that was running the prison.
Okay,
so he's trying to overthrow him. Somehow it fails, and the guy is being dragged away. The Force user guy with a scar.
Yes,
he's being dragged away by some guards, and then they just drop him in a hallway somewhere. Maybe he was just like, get him off my bridge. I don't want to see him anymore.
Oh.
He drags him away. They drop him. He rolls over to the camera and he just like looks up. He goes, what a drag. Here's a key point. Here's a key point. He did what a drag before. That means the makers of this film did what a drag 2 years before George Lucas did it in Phantom Menace. No, not Phantom Menace. In Clone War, or the Attack of the Clones,
yes,
where C-3PO has his head dragged by R2-D2,
and he says, "What a drag!
This is such a drag." So I was like, he beat, or whoever directed and wrote this, they beat George Lucas to this terrible, terrible joke.
Maybe George watched it and he was like,
"Dude, what if he
That's
did?
a great joke.
What if he did watch this?
I'll put it in my movie."
There was a couple other one-liners that seemed like George Lucas-esque. So maybe that's why they did it. I don't know.
What was that character you made up that was like George Lucas in disguise? Like,
did I make that up?
Morge Pukas or something?
No, I did not make this up.
And then he
Morge
you did.
Pukas.
Yeah, you did. He was like Morge Pukas, and he came on and he just like was directing The Last Jedi from behind the scenes. He's like, you shouldn't put that there. He's like, who are you again?
I know.
Morge Pukas.
I know what you're referencing.
Did I make this up?
I think that was like a Hard Times article.
Oh, it was. That's what it was.
Do you just attribute
everything
funny? You did it.
Dude, that's a great attribute to have.
Yeah.
Okay,
Dude,
so
I loved Bruce Almighty, by the way. Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome.
Thanks for writing that.
You're very welcome. Okay, so fast forward to the very end.
Got it.
She successfully escapes this it was also very vague as to the only reason I knew this was a prison on Kessel is because it was mentioned twice in the opening crawl. There weren't really a lot of establishing shots except for the first one. The end. They rescue her. They escape.
Got it.
The Australian guys.
Australian.
They help
American.
her get away. The conflict with the whole Empire guys arguing on the thing, it doesn't really matter because it was kind of uninteresting and it was kind of like confusing. But here's the end. They close with the Emperor talking, who's not talking because it's just the ADR. His mouth isn't moving.
Right.
And then they pull out to a wide, and he's talking directly to Mara Jade. She's on the Death Star. She had been a Sith the whole time. But that doesn't make any sense as to why she needed rescued or why Kyle Katarn gave her a transmission regarding anything. It was like they wanted to add a twist.
Wait, is that the twist?
That was the twist at the end.
That's like worse than it was a dream the whole time.
Yes, because none of her motivations really were Sith oriented. She just needed to get away from this prison. And she was rescued by rebels.
From what I saw from it, it just seemed like things were happening to her.
Yeah.
She specifically wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. She was not an active character. Things were happening to her, and then she was just kind of reacting to those events.
Right.
So it really felt like, as the watcher, I felt like that's what was happening to me. No one was making any decisions on screen. People were just like waking up places and then something would happen.
Right.
So I know it sounds like I'm kind of, dumping some garbage on this thing, but it was still fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it was fun especially to go like, how did they light this scene? Everything is in light.
They use football stadium lights.
Yeah. Or why did they film this? But the sets, the costumes,
they were really
the
good.
acting was all right, but they all seemed dedicated. And then when the credits rolled, there was like thousands of people. It was like a real credit roll of a real film.
Dang.
She did have a lightsaber ignite. She used her lightsaber in one scene, and I know why they limited that because it was a difficult effect to do. It was just kind of like there was no glow. There was no light emitting. It was just like a red, like a gradient stripe coming out of her lightsaber hilt.
Huh.
She had a red lightsaber.
Yes.
This is at the end.
That was the reveal.
This was the reveal of her being working for the Emperor. Was at the very end.
Yeah.
But the lightsaber reveal wasn't necessarily supposed to clue you in.
Okay.
It was like no one mentioned it. None of the rebels mentioned it, and she was attacking Imperials. So it was very odd. It was just like, so she has I was more closely looking at the effect than I was like paying attention to the color because she was still attacking Imperials. So I don't know. I don't know what the point was, but I loved it.
In Legends, she is a Sith.
Right.
Is
But
she?
she has a purple lightsaber.
And then she becomes good. Or something like that.
Well, I give it a 6 out of 10.
But
nice.
I would recommend this one highly because it is like that. It's something from a different time, and we're running into this issue right now where a lot of us have had the internet longer than we haven't had it. Like we've had a computer in the house longer than we haven't had a computer in the house, and this is kind of one of those things where we can look through a lens at something that's very common today, like fan films, then look back at something that's not the most common, like this, a production company making a film and doing effects before everybody had Photoshop or
Premiere,
or
where they
something,
had like a handheld camera that they could make something with. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. That's what I was excited about. I was like, all of this looks like someone invested in it, and that's what I wanted to do. I watched all the credits, and I was like, I want to see who funded this. And they just kind of say special thanks to and executive producers, and then they have a couple companies. It looks like some local businesses actually invested in it too. It's so cool that they actually got, like, they probably went around to, like, let's say an Aldi or something.
I'll kill you, Jedi scum, as soon as I finish shopping at Aldi.
Good product placement, yeah.
As soon as I finish off this ice cool Budweiser. Or when they have that cantina
That's my
scene.
favorite drink.
When they have that cantina scene, sitting down. Hey, can I have a Colt 45 or whatever?
Colt 45. Yeah, that's definitely what they would put in there. But I too would recommend it. Oh, something I didn't mention: the credits were also accented with a great '90s grunge song. It was like
awesome.
a girl leading band, lead singer, and it was a really grungy
It was
90s song. It was the
bizarre.
best way to end a 90s short film.
It was
And I'm also pissed that Mara Jade did not get top billing. Holy crap.
That's pretty weird.
The guy who did the awful kiss, I think, was the top billing, which made no sense. It made me mad, actually.
Here's the thing to wrap it up. This, and we're going to go to one more break and we'll wrap up the show after that. But this film, I think this is the greatest way I can try and get you guys to watch it. It looks like somebody tried hard to make the most 90s Star Wars fan film possible. It looks just like every 90s TV show, and then like that, it ends, and it's just like super grunge song. Like it's like so somebody set out, right? Someone set out to be like, okay, you know, this was really 90s, but what can we do to just drive it straight home? And it's like, hey, your sister has a band, right?
That's what I said. I was like, it looks like the 90s song they dug out of their younger sister's mixtapes. That's good. Your sister has a band, right? That's so good.
All right. Yeah. So during this break, go look at some of these films, and we'll come back and wrap it up in just one moment. Hey, guys.
What?
Guys, I need your help down here.
Johnny, get over here. Tyler says he needs help.
I can't help him. He
What?
fell. He has to work this out himself.
Guys,
What do you need help with?
I need your help by following Chatter Squadron on Instagram at Chatter Squadron, all one word.
Oh, on Instagram?
Is there anything else we can do for you?
Yes, get a splint from my leg. I think it's broken.
In relations to social media.
I have this bone. I can just give you a new bone.
Yeah, if you could come down and give me this new bone, and also give us a follow on
Facebook.
On
Facebook page. Yeah, sorry, I'm losing a lot of blood.
Yeah, you look
right
like
now.
you're
the name of the
bleeding out.
Facebook page?
You're getting real pale. I bet we could probably go to iTunes, rate and subscribe to the show.
Should we give it 5 stars?
We should definitely give it 5 stars. That might help Tyler.
Yeah, give it 5 stars and say, put that bone in, Calhoun.
Let's not say that. Don't say put that bone in Calhoun, because some people might get the wrong idea.
That wasn't for them to say.
I think Tyler's losing it. Johnny, can you come hold his legs together?
Oh, the Facebook page is Chatter Squadron Podcast. Join our discussion there.
You rest now, sweet prince.
I think I'm going. Let's
Go
go
to
to
this
sleep.
cave.
What's the name that you said? Amanda Lorian.
Amanda Lorian. I'm gonna make a Facebook profile.
Amanda
Or
Lorian.
I'm gonna make a Twitter profile, because that's what everyone does these days.
Man, I thought you were gonna say a. What is that? What is that app?
Oh, Twinder.
Twinder.
I could make a Tinder profile.
Tinder,
called
Amanda Lorian.
It's just a picture of Amanda Lorian.
Oh no, it's gonna be a picture of Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
What's Lorian? What's that from? Is that like Dutch or?
It's DeLorean.
Actually, from Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Lothlorien.
Yeah, Lothlorien.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for listening to this super show with us. Something that I want to pull a curtain back a little bit on is we've made us on the show. We've made several fan film type things before, so it's something we're really passionate about, is making films, and it's cool to see other people doing it. Other people putting themselves out there to do something. So that's why we kind of wanted to shine a light on it. And then, of course, Johnny mentioned in it last episode that he wants to see Star Wars be the ones to kind of, hey, everybody, make a movie, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the winner can be at the premiere.
That would be so good. That would be a fun thing to do.
The winner is episode 9. Congratulations.
Oh, wow. Talk about outsourcing.
Thank you for that. Yeah, so that's something that we're big on film, and we talk about it all the time. We go see movies all the time. So that's kind of why this was a bigger episode, because like I said, we wanted to bring it up and we wanted to talk about it, because that's what makes Star Wars so cool. Is the fans who devote hours and hours and hours. I mean, even us, we're technically just fans putting hours and hours and hours into a show
dedicated to Star
Wars because of how much we love it. But I will say, you heard to go follow us on Instagram and our new Facebook page, Chatter Squadron dash a Star Wars podcast, where I posted, what's your least favorite Star Wars film? And there's a lot of people saying Phantom Menace, a lot of people saying The Last Jedi. None, I like them all, which is a good, I can take that.
Yeah.
I can take people who say, I don't really have a specific least favorite.
Someone said The Last Jedi.
Yes.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, everyone knows.
It's just, recent memory.
Caravan of Courage, which is one that I really want to watch.
I don't know if that's fan made though.
No, well, this isn't talking fan films. It's
just
Caravan of Courage is an Ewok.
Yeah, there's
one of the
actually two Ewok
movies.
films I've been made aware of that we need to watch.
We need to watch and we need to talk about them. Just like the go back and watch or listen to our holiday special.
No, thank you.
Well, listen to our episode most definitely. But you don't have to watch the thing.
you listen to the episode so you do not have to watch it. I guarantee you it's better.
Last three? I don't know what
is it? We're reading the comments here?
Yeah, I'm just looking through to see if anyone said specific. Someone did say the Christmas special, though.
Well, there you go.
Let's see, the Christmas special.
It's
one of those
special.
movies
Life Day.
that's so terrible that I forced myself to watch it, but couldn't do it twice. Chewbacca watching recipe videos? Question mark. Come on, that's not Chewbacca.
That was Mala.
That's Mala?
Dude, that's Mala. I have a Mala tattoo.
Did you even watch the movie, bro? Do you even
Did you watch
holiday
the special? Yeah.
Dude, do you even holiday special? But no, that's something that I guess the best way to kind of close this episode is to say, we can, like you guys were mentioning, people not liking The Last Jedi, being a part of the Star Wars community, the best thing we can do is support each other and support people creating, because we have a lot of listeners, and that's great, and I appreciate it so much because you're supporting fans, you're supporting our work, which supports other people's work. Like that, we're shining light on other movies, so you can go give them views and you can go give them support. That's what we have to do, because at the end of the day, if we don't like a movie that they release, the best thing we can do is just make our own stories or do whatever else, or talk about what we do like.
Which sounds like what people want to do anyway. Because, any problem they have with a Star Wars film, sometimes they preface it with, I would have done it this way. Because everyone kind of imagines that, like, my story, I'm filling in the gaps with my story.
Right.
And maybe that's why some people get a little irritated if they don't go that way, which is fine. You're entitled to that.
Mm-hmm. But no, I think this was an important episode because of the fact of when Johnny brought up his point that he wants the Star Wars community to come together. Well, that's a good thing, and I want Star Wars to kind of spearhead that, but we've been coming together for years and years, even back to 1999 or whenever. We've been coming together to make our own stories, and I think that's the best way that we can support each other, make sure that the community grows, and most of all, to stay creative, because fans of this franchise are able to pick apart different pieces of the universe and put their own story into them. Like pretty much all of our stories, all the films we talked about, even my first one with the taking place on Earth, people took the universe and made their own story inside of it.
Yep. And I definitely want to see more films with kids inspired by the films that they just watched.
Right.
And they want to go outside, get mom and dad's camera. Does it shoot video? Good. Well, we don't have any droids. Get this tripod. This is the droid. I want to see more of those. I want to see those all over the place, because that means people are passionate about it.
Right. And we have, I know for a fact, we all have those type of films. It's not even Star Wars related technically, but we all have gotten out there and just shot something.
Yeah.
And I know that just because of me doing it personally, that's one of the best things you can do at such a young age, is do those type of things, because when you're older, you get to look back and be like, oh, I remember that. I remember when we shot
Get embarrassed of yourself.
Right. Yeah, it's a good little...
Or be like, I was so funny.
a good little nostalgia trip, because like I said, watching that scene with the droid being a tripod, it put me right back there. I was in their shoes for a second and was like, Kevin can't come over today to, hold the camera.
Kevin.
Yeah, whatever. So what can we do? And just, that. And then probably I see in my head them sitting around the computer in the house editing something with like Movie Maker or something.
Oh, Movie Maker. I love Movie Maker.
But that's what I mean. We just implore everybody to go out and do that type of thing and support people who are taking time out of their lives to talk about Star Wars, to make something Star Wars, because it's not easy. Something that blows me away are the people that make the props and people that make lightsabers.
People, the unappreciated behind the scenes, like anyone that designed a set or designed a costume.
Right.
Oh, a lot of talent goes into that.
Right, because even like in these films we were looking at, they can buy like a lightsaber or whatever, but like putting a little bit of leather on it or little weathering on it or paint or each thing is. You can see that they put some thought into it. Even the people's melted faces.
Yeah, they put thought into it.
They still put thought into it.
might have been too harsh.
They committed to it. Oh yeah, I mean we were harsh on it completely, but we would be harsh on a professional piece of media as well.
Right. And at the same time, you were reluctant to tell people to go watch it, but at the end of the day,
I would say watch it.
Yeah, go watch it and go have the opinion for yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's what this episode was about.
Great.
Go support other people and
May the force be with you.
and may the force be with you. But no, so closing like that, we'll be back next Tuesday. We have several ideas that we're passing around, and we might be doing a debate again. Soon, because that debate did really well, and I'm trying a new sign off now to pull back the curtain one more time. Ever since I started this show, crazy things have been happening in my life, and I don't think the show's cursed or anything, but just crazy things and like that. These guys have been really helpful through all of it because. In our group chat, it'll just every once in a while they'll get another message of, "Hey guys, so another thing happened." But just my new sign off that I want to just say to people with that coming together as a community is that if you are in a crisis with some sort of mental health issue, you can text 4HOPE to 741-741 to text someone about any sort of issues that you're going for. And that's the number 4HOPE to 741-741. And like I said, we're all in this together. We're all Star Wars fans. And go support your local filmmaker.
Yeah,
That's right.
Go support.
Volunteer. Go act in a film.
Yeah, and you can do that too.
Go
Believe it or
hold a
not.
camera. Go hold a light.
There's a whole lot of not even Star Wars films, just films in general. But that's the thing. Every time you listen to this podcast and you like us and you follow us where you need to, you're supporting us, and I greatly appreciate that. And I know these guys do too. So. We will be consistent, and we will see you next Tuesday with some type of Star Wars-y thing.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
See you then.
May the force be with you.